Welcome to another episode of Fun Filled Feld February.
Ooh.
It is our third in the series.
Number three.
How
fun has it been?
It's had ups. It's had some ups and it's had some not so ups.
This week was,
It's had some downs and some downs. We are now officially over halfway there. Got one more video next week, and then we're gonna give our big overview and rankings of them as a whole group, and then our individual ones. But for this week, we got 4 new ones to bring to you, so stay tuned. So this week, we're going to be talking about Luna, Notre Dame, Bruges, and Forum Trajanum. Solid.
It's Notre Dame. I just did my ancestry test. Apparently, I'm a little bit French.
Oh, okay. So then that's not
enough to
wrong.
be native speaking now.
Parlez-vous.
Oui.
Buongiorno.
Oh God. That's Italian.
9.
Now we're just going all over the
We
place.
have Forum Trajanum here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So these 4 ones are also quite a bit different from each other. I know Luna was supposed to be in last week's.
Yep.
But we goofed. We did a goof. We goofaroonied.
I left it at home.
Yes,
That was the goof.
It was actually supposed to be Macau with this group, but you know what? That's okay. Keegan, which one should we start with?
Not Luna, because I don't want to start with you shit talking something. Let's start with. Yes.
This is the one we're all probably about.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Yes. I'm waiting.
It's an interesting one. It's pretty simple. It's on the easier side of all of his games. That and one other one that we will be talking about next week is also on the simpler side.
Did I win this one?
Yes.
I feel like I win the easy ones.
I don't remember.
I think you did.
If it's
I think
easy,
you did.
I win.
I don't recall, but
Yeah, because I got all the messages.
That's right.
yeah. I don't know.
I'm probably the one that liked it the most out of the 3 of us.
I think of his lighter games. It's just like a
Great
little.
review.
It's like a small card drafting game, and then trying to mitigate the plague.
Yeah.
And it's got an interesting thing where the more cubes you put down, the more stuff you get. So you put a bunch of cubes into points, you get more points. You put a bunch of cubes into the money spot, you get more money.
You get a bunch of cubes into cubes, get more cubes.
Yep, exactly. Which is what I did.
Yeah. Unless you put them in Notre Dame and then they're gone until they're gone from Notre Dame. Then you have to get them back again.
It's got a little unique variability with the different cards that flip out, and it's light and simple. It's not something I'd maybe necessarily rush out to get, but it moved pretty quick.
Yeah, it is a quicker moving Feld game. So kind of in it, you're drawing. I'm just trying to how many.
Oh, I thought you were trying to explain the theme.
No.
There's none.
Building Notre Dame.
You draw
No,
3 cards.
3 cards. Well, I guess it depends on how many players.
No, you draw
it's
3 cards.
You pick one, you pass, and
Yep.
your draft. That's what Max meant in the drafting. Then you end up only playing 2 of them. It's
fine.
It's
fine.
Simple. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to really say about it, unfortunately.
There's nothing really negative, but there's nothing that really shines.
I'll give
It's not a really big one that stood out for me. The art is fine.
I'm gonna give my mini review spoiler. I'd rather play that than Forum. For me, I would rather play Notre Dame than Forum.
Really? Well,
Yep.
then maybe we should talk about
But
Forum.
we'll talk about it next.
Why?
But for me, I don't know. For like, if I'm gonna have a lighter-ish game night, something more of like midweight, leaning more towards easy or like lightweight, I would rather play Notre Dame because I think it's a nice like little we have like a half hour, 45 minutes to kill. Let's just get this on the table really quick. Let's just play through it. There's not a lot to think about. It's just a lot of just like play your cards, do your stuff, and then let's move on.
These are not even in the same.
They're not, but for me personally, I'd rather play that over this. I think I'm done with Forum.
Really?
I'm not interested in playing it anymore because we can get to it in a minute. But
I was gonna say I'm pretty much done with Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I saw it. I just sitting there. I'm like, okay, we're playing. And I never sat there and like, ooh, that was really interesting. Or like, I'm trying to build up a strategy or something, do something, or like, there was never a moment they go, ooh, I did a big play, or
well, I guess for us,
I comboed something big.
Us who play a lot of games, yeah, but people like new or like if you haven't played a card drafting game, which they really overcomplicate the way card drafting works in this rule book.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's a fun light game. Like it's hard to compare them to his other games because it's pretty different than his later stuff. But
especially if you're newer into the hobby, I think it's a good one to get because you get good variability in it. Because you have certain cards that you have that are going to be put into a stack, but they're lettered, and you don't play every card out of the lettered stack. You use 3 per letter, right? 3 A's, 3 B's, 3 C's.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a good amount of cards in there, so your games aren't going to be the same. So I think if you're looking for like a quick little game to get you more into the hobby from what you've played before, like this is a good option. But like Ryan said, I'm not like running out to buy it.
Yeah, it's not that deep in so much that you can luck into something like depending on a card game. There was like a card that came out that was like for every message you have, a pair of messages you have, get X amount of points. And I happen to just have a bunch of messages, so I got a bunch of points. And then later on it was if you happen to have a bunch of cubes on this spot, you get a bunch of points.
And Ryan had that.
So you could like kind of luck into something. So I guess you played it enough.
But also it's none of them are game breaking.
No.
But that just like,
you scored like 12 points because you happen to just have like a ton of cubes on that thing. But
I mean, there was other ones that you got a bunch of.
Yeah, but I just mean like, since Keegan didn't luck into one particularly, like, you know, but it's such a light game. Like if you're, you know what I mean? Like this isn't like it's fine in this type of game because this isn't the type of game where I played for 3 hours and somebody lucked into a card and got 12 more points.
That would feel awful.
Won the game.
Yeah.
This is such a light game where it doesn't particularly matter, so it's fine. But it is in there. Like it is
for almost feels like a teaching and understanding the mechanic of card drafting.
Yeah.
Maybe it shouldn't have been randomly draw 3 cards and just you have your deck, pick which 3 that you want. Potentially,
and that's just a variant you could put it. You could house rule it.
Variant just to help maybe teach it even more. Like, just be like they can think about which ones they want to be like. I might want to get rid of these ones. I definitely want this one, and then next turn, whatever.
Because I'm pretty sure. Did you mention it or Max mention it that on BGG someone says that they do a variant where after you like randomly pick the cards for every deck, like the A, B, and C cards, you see what they are before you start the game, so you can like start thinking about a strategy. Which, that's another thing, too. If you're a person that really, really wants to plan ahead, like, you could do that variant as well. Just, like, I know what cards are in the deck, but now I know what I'm going to go for.
But at that point, it's like, if you've learned the game that much, just
move on.
Go play a different game.
Yeah.
But I mean,
go play a deeper game.
But I mean, even from the start, like, just without, like, it just seems like the game would be a little more interesting if you had something to plan for. Because otherwise, it's just, like, play these cards down and you're just doing something, mitigating, basically, the plague.
Yeah.
And then just, hopefully, a card will come out that'll give you some good points. And, well, I don't know. It might be just more interesting and thought-provoking to be thinking about a plan while you're trying to learn this mechanic of card drafting.
I would be interested to see this game get revamped, but as strictly a card game. Like a travel-sized card for foreshadowing for next week. But I think this would be another cool like Feld game that could get the miniaturized treatment and simplified treatment that would maybe make it into a nice little quick like $10 card drafting quick game.
One I can't remember.
I mean, they've done it with Burgundy. They made a dice version and a card version of it. Because they
capitalizing on that game.
Burgundy is god apparently, but
almost, I mean, you could probably find a way to do a dice version of this.
Yeah, easily.
It's small, yeah.
I think just if that game got condensed down to something like a small travel thing, that this would be like a solid like pick it up for $15 and just play it. But if you get this as a present and you're new into the hobby, don't get rid of it. Play it. It's worth getting into.
Sorry.
That's it.
Thank you, JR, for letting us use your copy.
Thank you, JR. Shout out to our friend JR.
Yes.
You can have it back.
But you can't have my cow back because I bought it from you, so that's mine now.
Okay.
Anyway.
So weird little brag thing going on there. All right.
Not a brag, just giving him the credit. Forum
Trajanum.
Trajanum.
I've heard it pronounced multiple different ways.
Fortra.
What?
Fortra. It's first syllable.
Oh man. So this is a lighter mid-weight Feld one that has an interesting, I'm trying to think kind of unique way of how you're getting your actions.
It's pretty unique.
It's
Yeah.
very weird.
It's very weird.
Essentially, you're gonna have your own little player board, and two cards will randomly come out, and those will determine the column or row in which you're gonna be picking a tile or something that'll tell you what resources or workers that you get for that round.
Yep.
And again, you like a lot of his games, you're pick one pass
Yep.
and get passed one to you. And then basically you're going to use the colored workers in order to do various actions, right? Put those tiles that you pick up out onto the main board to get points.
By building buildings on your own board.
Yes, as well as like increased benefits, bonuses that you get for playing those guys, certain little tokens out onto your player board. But I think it's the interesting portion of your player board of those rows and columns and picking which ones that you want to take off, which ones you don't want to take off, is probably the most interesting part of this game.
And you can flip the boards over, and there's an asymmetric side, so everyone has something different to play on, which is cool. But Max has something he's thinking about.
I don't know. I wasn't excited to play this one whatsoever. It does look better on the table than in any videos I saw for it.
Yeah.
It's not particularly good looking, as most Felds are.
The board's being asked for you to put stuff on it. It's so basically, it's like, put things on me, please. And you're like, cool, I'm doing that. But
I don't know if I hated it. But
I think the consensus
I've wanted to play it again and again. Like, I want to play it. Like, I want to play it because I want to figure it out. Because I do think that there's some interesting things in there.
Jazz?
I mean, I don't know if there are certain things that are broken or not, but let me look at this. I mean, there's a lot of randomness to mitigate in it. I do feel like some other of his games. Which
I think a little less randomness, though.
I don't think that much less, but
we have arguments on RNG all the the Don't worry, we'll get into it.
Much less randomness.
I don't know. There's just something in it that I want to like. It's maybe like with Trajan, where it's like when I play it, the mini games all kind of click and make sense. But I really want to play it again and master that Mancala wheel. I don't know that. Like specifically, it's not like I'm specifically trying to master the columns rows thing that you pick, but there's a little bit of tricks to it. I don't know. Like when we were done playing it, I think I was the one who was like, we're gonna play it again, right? And then we're gonna play it again. Like I wanna figure it out. Like it's I don't know. It's not. I don't know how to explain exactly, which is bad to say.
For
Great
review.
But I can't put it. Yeah, I want to play it again, even though I don't. It frustrates me, and I think maybe that's why. It's like I haven't quite figured out the puzzle of it yet. It's like there's just a missing piece somewhere on the floor, and I'm trying to find it and finish this thing. Like, there are parts of it I enjoy, there are parts of it I really don't like, but I still want to play it. And it left me scratching my head. Like, I even when we pulled it out to review it today, I was like, I kind of want to play it right now.
I think, like, this doesn't have something like Trajan where, like, the Mancala where, like, you can master it. Like, I don't think there's something in here that you can necessarily master, really, because your scoring cards are going to be different every game, too, and the scoring cards are probably the most important decision maker that you're going to make on what tiles you're taking off. Because most of the scoring cards, like, if your houses are built this way, or if they're built next to these other buildings on your player board, like, you need to figure out, like, this is going to score 2 rounds from now. I need to start taking tiles off that are around this building so I can score this card later. And that's like probably the most like decision space you have when it comes in regards to your rows and your columns, I think. Otherwise, you're just pulling random shit off the thing and hoping for the best. Yeah. But like for me, I read that the game's busted if you focus on the slider. Like there's people that say if you just push the slider and flip it if you can, you'll win by an astronomical amount of points if you just focus on that.
I didn't.
So I don't know. But then I also the second game we played, I only played gray buildings and I destroyed. Yeah. But that might also be because 2 of our scoring cards that came out really synergized with gray buildings only. So I only did that.
You took advantage. Like that worked out well for you.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's a thing where like there is a busted potential for a busted system in this between the slider and the gray buildings, because the gray buildings are cheap. You pay 1 gray dude, and you put a gray building out, and then you get the bonus from whatever the gray thing was, and you potentially then score off of it too right away. Like you get a lot from that.
I think you took advantage of it in a way that we didn't in that game, and were able to get a lot of points with the scoring card specifically being for gray buildings. I don't know that it's broken. Like I think we have to
try it again, but
yeah, I mean, I think you two played it enough to where you don't want to necessarily play it again. I would play it again, but I don't. It's not my favorite of the bunch. It's definitely not my least favorite of the bunch. But for how much I was not looking forward to playing it, just watching the way the game worked and how you take your actions and what actions you even have to do in it. Like it was so disjointed feeling for me, and just. Like, I was not excited to play it, so I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to, but I don't know. It's the weirdest one for me. It just fits in this odd space.
I agree that it feels weird for me. This will be my last thing I say about it, so Ryan can talk. But it's in a weird space for me too. But I think for me, you have like your puzzle aspect in the middle with your board, where you take things off and putting things on. But then you have area majority plus technically route building in a way, because you're trying to connect everything in the middle. So there's like Feld and his mini games in his games type thing. I feel like for me, if he just made the area majority game in the middle, I would like it. If he just made the focus on your board and build your puzzle, I would like it. But the two together makes me like wanting one side and the other side at the same time. Where I'm like, I want a little bit more from this, but I also want a little bit more from this. But that would just equal out the same game because they're both equal. Yeah. So I don't know.
I would say that I had that exact feeling with Beyond the Sun, but separate. But yeah, I understand. I get what you're saying on that. And yeah, it's just like there's these 2 large aspects to the game that you just like pick one and focus on it.
And one feels
not just like doing the stuff, but just like the game overall, the design of the game. It's like pick one and explore that.
And one feels kind of stronger than the other most of the time, in my opinion.
One feels a little more interesting.
Your own board feels stronger than building your influence in the middle.
Yeah, it seems like a lot more of an interesting gameplay.
Gameplay, and I think over an end game you're going to get more points probably focusing on your own board more.
I mean, just as it's like, if you think of it as its own game too, just has a more interesting aspect in by itself rather than this area majority, whatever that's going on in the route buildings. Yeah. And I mean, so I picked this up a while ago.
Oh yeah, you and I were together because it was when they was on sale for like 50% off or something.
Yeah, and it looked really interesting, and unfortunately it was sort of a letdown for me, mostly in the sense that I'm just like, it's just kind of forgettable. I don't really think about it. I will look at like my closet of games and I'll just skip past it, right? And because it doesn't just pop out and go, oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember us playing that. It's
one of those games that if you don't play it for a month, you like have to relearn every mechanic.
Yeah, because it's just like never thought about it.
It has such a different, I don't know, like it just has an odd way of like your action selection or the things you get to do in a round. It has a weird
in that no one has a particular workers of their own colors. They're all just the colors are just for whatever, it's just for the specific actions.
Which ends up just becoming confusing because it's like, okay, you have these different colored workers, but then you have gray builders, but then you have what is it like brown
assistant?
And then there's the senator. There's like the white piece, which then you can use. It's like so many different colored people, but then like even like the little things you're putting on the side of your board, those are like councilmen or something, but they're just a tile. They're not
yeah.
Like everything just has a weird, and it's all just sort of nebulous, generic, like thing one, thing two, thing. Like they're not like it wasn't like I ever felt like, oh, my workers are going out to build this. I was like, give me the orange things and I'll trade them for this. Like,
I think
which normally doesn't bother me, but in this it was just so much of that it just became.
Feld games give me an impact, like something about it like hits me. I'm like, oh, this is a Feld that I really like because of this thing, and it didn't give me one. Like for me at least, it didn't give me like, oh, like I know a lot of people love this game.
It didn't give me a good,
for me.
but there is some mechanics in there that I'm still interested in. Just I think because it's different. Maybe that's what it is. It's just a different sort of puzzle that some of his other games aren't, or that a lot of other games aren't, just the way it all kind of clicks together, but it doesn't necessarily end up clicking together in a satisfying way. But I'm still intrigued by it.
That's a good way of putting it.
But so I think that's why I keep thinking of it and wanting to try it until I'll probably get to a point where I play it a couple more times and be like, eh. But I mean, you know.
It stands on the fact that, it has its own unique mechanics,
systems,
systems in it that of Feld games that you go, okay, play if you're looking to play some Feld games, play it simply because it's probably like there's no other one that have something very similar. So
and
kind of like Trajan, like right, it has its the separate like unique Mancala thing going.
And
on.
I wouldn't say, because we've played bad games. I wouldn't say this is a bad game. I would just say it stacked up to some of his other games isn't as good, and
at least with like bad games, you have like a memory about it.
Yeah.
If you have something,
invokes a feeling. This doesn't.
If you have something in the middle of the line, you're just like, oh, that was there, and I don't remember any of it. But if I played a bad game, I can like rail on it later and be like, that was so bad, wasn't it? And we can laugh about it. But this was kind of like, we played tile game.
Yeah.
Now let's play Feast for Odin, which is more tile game.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So
let's play Feast for Odin right now.
The two contentious ones.
Yes. These ones.
You pick.
I'm gonna go with Bruges.
It's a Bruges.
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 We played with the expansions.
Yeah, we played with City on the Svin with all the modules together, except for the 5th player expansion because we didn't have 5 people. But then we
didn't play with animals.
We didn't play with the animals expansion, but it's just cards, so it doesn't change too much. But we did try it with the new Hamburg rules.
Well, we played
partially.
We played both different, as many Hamburg rules as we could.
Mainly, we'll get to it. We played with the biggest change in the game probably for the Hamburg rules. We played with that to see how it fared, mainly for Ryan's sake. But
for anybody that doesn't know, they're coming out with another edition of Bruges called Hamburg, and in this game you have 2 different piles of cards that you're pulling off of, but you can only see the tops of it. So there's like 5 different color cards put in together. In Hamburg, they just have 5 different decks of the different colors that you can draw from. So you can just draw purple. You can draw specifically what color you want. In this, you kind of get what you can see on the top of, and you only get to draw up to 5 cards, so you can be pretty hamstrung in what Hamburg hamstrung. I'm tired and I'm a dad. I can make a dad joke.
I approve of it.
Anyway,
Ryan, start this one out.
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan. Complain away.
Oh, are you guys done?
Yeah.
Yes, go.
Okay.
You couldn't tell by my perfect segue?
Yeah, the first play of it when we did no
Just base Bruges.
Bruges. Hated it. I thought it was an awful game. We played it then with the expansion with the boats.
City on the Svin.
Yes, I liked that more. I liked that aspect added to it. But then I liked it a lot more when we played it with the new Hamburg, or as much Hamburg rules as we can. Splitting those out into the 5 colored decks made the game feel so much better.
And the game was shortened then too.
Yes.
Yeah.
We only played 8 rounds because of that. It just felt so much better playing that and satisfying. I like being able to choose what colors I wanted to, and then looking, going, okay, is there some interesting engine that I can build from this? Not having to also worry about getting completely screwed round after round of colors not coming out. Just it made it a lot more satisfying for me and enjoyable the whole time that I was playing the base one, and just like multiple rounds of drawing colored cards that I just couldn't get, never came up, was just felt terrible and was just pissing me off the whole time. And I'm just I got to actually implement a strategy that I liked. Like, I was trying to do a strategy in the base one, but really couldn't do it because I couldn't get the colored cards that I need. And then if I happen to get one, you're like, oh no, this works perfectly with my engine, but no, I have to throw it away because I needed that single red one that came out, but I had to use it for the canal. Mm-hmm. But with this, at least I can be like, you know what, I'm going to draw the 2 reds. I know I only need one. Maybe one of them be great to use in my engine. If not, I can potentially use it for something else. So yeah, I liked it a lot more. I'm more excited to get Hamburg. I was very worried when I first played it, going, oh no, I only backed Hamburg, not the Amsterdam. But yeah, so excited to play it with the full Amsterdam rules.
I'm excited to see how Amsterdam works with the
Hamburg.
Yeah, Hamburg. Gosh, could they? Yeah. With the other thing, because apparently there's going to be like the houses that you build are going to have abilities too. So I'm excited to
pretty cool.
And then
I'm excited
an additional
to see that.
threat token color, the wild ones.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that, and I'm excited to see how they change the way the cards score points and stuff. Because for me, when we were able to draw any card we wanted, it completely sucked all the tension out of the game. I like Felds when there is limitations and when you are hamstrung in certain ways, and I enjoy Bruges where it's like, I need red to build my canal, but no red cards came up. Okay, where am I going to pivot and go to next? How am I gonna swerve from this? And yeah, sometimes it does feel bad, but I mean, like, this isn't like a 3-hour Euro. This is a light combo-y silly card game where like you hire jugglers and stuff like that, and fire breathers, and I really like the way the cards like do it, where there's like a sneak thief like kid, like a little like alley rat kid, and it's like, you know, you hire him and he goes and takes somebody's money or something. Like of Feld games, like I don't think this is necessarily thematic all throughout the game, but the cards really sometimes do shine through, I think, and they all each have individual art in them, and so it's cool to me. And when we were able to draw whatever we wanted, I never felt like, oh no, I've got this threat token. How am I need to find a blue card so I can get rid of this, or my town's gonna flood. It just felt like, oh, I'll just pick blue. I'll just take this one. I still liked it, but it wasn't as tense for me. Whereas normally I play this game, it does feel tense. Like there's no way I can do everything I want to do. And so I'm excited to see Hamburg, but I also won't get rid of my copy of Bruges either, because I like it. I think it's a fun combo-y card game. It's very lucky, and you can luck into some perfect cards that are worth like this game is not fair by any means. I don't think.
Which I like about it.
But it's just I enjoy playing it. Like it's just fun. Like it's I don't know that Wingspan is necessarily the most like fair game. You can luck into some birds and some point cards, but I still love Wingspan. It's a beautiful game and the art's incredible, and I enjoy playing it, but I don't know that it's balanced necessarily.
But I'm in the camp with Max. Like, I would rather play Bruges with the Bruges rules, because I do like the idea of like, oh shit, there's no yellow cards. What is this blue card gonna give me? Or like, there's like a nice like asshole feeling in the game where you're drawing cards and a yellow comes up and you're like, I know someone needs that. I don't, but I'm gonna take it because I don't want them to draw it. Like, there's a fun like meanness to that in the game too.
Yeah, I thought you'd love that.
With how like
Max needs red. Let me take all the red.
With how like silly the game is, because it's not like a heavy thinker game, and like it gives me TCG vibes. and I fucking love TCGs. Like, I don't want to play them anymore, but I'm about to get addicted to one again. But like, this gives me that feeling of it. Like, oh, what am I gonna draw? I don't know my deck, but I want to get something that will help me out. And like that excitement there is for me. Like, it's like opening packs. What card am I gonna get? What color is it gonna be? Like, I like that about the old rules. Never played this without Zvin. If you have the City on the Zvin expansion, just never play base game ever again. Because City on the Zvin just makes the game significantly better.
Good luck finding it.
Good luck finding it.
I don't have it. Keegan does.
Yeah, City on the Zvin makes the game great because 3s and 4s actually mean something when you roll them on the dice.
Yeah. That is a fun addition.
Yeah, I adore this. I was going to back Hamburg until I saw what the price point was, and seeing that the card art isn't individualized card art like it is in Bruges, made me really just want to hold on to this game. Because I remember playing it the first time and loving it, and then didn't play it for a while. And then we played it, and all I was thinking about after we were done that day was, I want to play Bruges more. And I texted my wife being like, hey, we need to play Bruges again because it's so good. I adore this game. I think it's great. I'm keeping it forever. I love all the cards in it. It's top tier for me.
How do you guys feel about it compared to other Feld games, though? Like, because for me, I'll always play a Feld game in the sense, like, especially now playing through more of his games that I've never played before. Is point salady or samey as they can be in some ways. I usually feel like there's some mechanic or something that shines through and is different. And this one, it doesn't necessarily have something like super different mechanically, but for Feld, the way the cards interact is pretty unique, and I really enjoy it.
Just the fact that it's a card game is like different for Feld, because Feld doesn't do like card games. This is his card game in a way. Like the other one, like Notre Dame, like you have cards, but
you're just drafting.
Not really, and it's a cow, yeah, but you're like
that's like I guess they're both tableau builders.
They are.
Macau, you're a lot more limited. This you have a hand of cards. Macau, it's like you pick one.
Yeah, this is like this. You have your hand of cards that your cards are your resource. Whereas Macau, you have cards that you basically need to get out, or you get punished for it.
Yeah,
and your cubes
Macau's a lot more punishing.
Yeah, and Macau, the cubes are your resource, which is also unique for Macau. But like for this, like as card games
I guess those are the closest, probably. But
yeah,
still,
I agree. They're the closest.
Macau has
ones.
that really the windrow
the windrows.
Yeah, and this is just the dice, which I love. As random as they are and as punishing as they can be.
The fact that you like, I also am just a sucker for multi-use card games. Like that's my favorite mechanic of all time, and this does it great. Every card has 6 possible actions you can do with it. Yeehaw! It's great. I love it. Bruges is like top tier for me. This is one of those few games I have mentally in like a mental list that if someone says, "Can we play this?" I will say yes every time.
I just would go into it knowing with like having the caveat that. Like the first time I played it, everybody was very nice, and we didn't use any of the like a lot. I feel like it's the purple cards are like the underworld, and they're like steal so and so's money, kill so and so's,
give someone a threat
blue
token.
Workers, yeah, give someone a threat token, which Keegan did, which like flooded both me and Ryan cities and killed all of our workers. Like so, this game is potentially extremely mean, which is also weird for like this like fun combo-y. Let me build up my city or with these people, and like, oh wait, you just destroyed half my time, so it sits in this odd place, but every time I play it, I have fun and enjoy it. But not so.
If you're the type of person like these two, where you do like the more fun play as you go,
tactic versus strategic.
Yeah, you'll like the base one. If you're a little bit more like me, where you like an engine builder but don't want as much randomness in it, you'll probably like the new Hamburg one more, like I did. I just felt that the colored cards just be on the 2 decks, that randomness, and then also just whatever possible engine could be created from what you drew, randomness, just feels too much if you're a gamer like me. It just is not satisfying.
I'm excited to see that how much Hamburg's going to change.
Yeah,
I'm really excited.
The day you get it, we're coming over and playing because I'm really curious about it.
Yeah. Ryan's going to be sick that day
from work.
Oh yeah, no, good, because Not that some of my coworkers watch it in my project manager. That's cool.
Hi, John.
They won't know.
Okay, now for the last and most contentious. Who wants to start with this game?
How about all three of
we
us?
already talked about. Yeah.
How about we?
Did this once.
How about we all, before we start, we each say in 3 words our opinion on Luna.
Okay.
Max.
Wait,
Just 3 words
3 words?
on what you think of Luna.
I liked it. No, wait, let me go this last.
There's more
I
than
can't
just
think
3
of
words
something.
right there.
Ryan, do you have your words? That's 1.
Luna shocked me. I'll say that.
Felt very hamstrung.
Loving me right. I love Luna. I am shocked.
Yeah, I'll go first. Sure. I'm gonna start. I watched a video, read the rules, and was bored to tears. I was completely uninterested in the game. I did not understand how it clicked together. I didn't really want to play it. But I was like, oh, we gotta. Like, I was very unexcited to play it, and then this was incredibly surprising me how fun it was. You are very limited in this game, and you do have to look like 5 turns ahead and be like, well, I have to have my guys on this island. There's just whatever. Go look it up. There's guys moving around islands, and there's a moon priestess, and it's an old game. If you don't know, it's too hard to explain. You're getting tiles, you're taking actions, and you have to look so far in advance. And I'm not particularly good at that, but it was a really fun puzzle, and it was way more brain burny than I thought. And it is mean. It is so mean. And I really enjoyed it. I was shocked at how much I enjoyed it.
Do you want to go?
Yeah.
Bring it on down.
The whole time I played it, I just felt so limited in what I could do. I mean, I know, like, the second time we played, I was keeping up for most of the game in points-wise. But it just felt like, because movement is so difficult in this, and it's so limiting in the amount of actions you're going to actually get throughout the ground, especially with the candle thing, where it's just simply decided, which I hate.
Chef's kiss. The candle thing's the best mechanic in the game.
Essentially, on your turn, instead of doing action, you can just take one of the candles and move it over, and that's like decides when the round will end. I really just did not like that, not having a set number of actions and knowing how limiting everything is was a big problem, and I just felt so hamstrung throughout that I couldn't actually get to do the actions that I wanted to, because you need to leave certain workers over at certain islands, but then they need to be at other islands, but it's a whole 2 turns before you can actually get them to do what you want, and it just never felt satisfying for me.
I'll say in Ryan's defense, he was doing this like sort of long game strategy where he was spending a worker to get 2 workers to do some actions and 1 worker to get, and I went the short game, and I tried to get points as fast as I could and then burn the candles out so that he wouldn't have enough time to do any of his actions. Which is why I loved the mechanic. Like it's that all this entire game is about timing, about having your guys at the island at the right time and picking up the right tokens to go do the thing at the right time, and getting onto the main board in the right spot at the right time. Like, it's all timing in this game, and yeah. But it wasn't fair to you.
It wasn't that, like, I was trying to go for that strategy. It just turned out that I just had to be there if I wanted to do anything that I was trying to do. And then, like, I just have to, like, I use one guy to get that refresh thing so that I can move my guys over here so that I know for next round they're going to have to be here, or I need to be able to get the temple tile so that I can build another temple when it comes around, but then I also need to be over there. It's just like I needed to leave them there for me to even be able to do any of it, and I don't know.
It felt like, to me, in some of these games, I think Feld gives you in a lot of his games a lot of options, and in a lot of them he cuts them off in certain ways where you cannot do them all. And so it's finding when to do them. At least that's how I feel like, what I feel like, and that's why I like them, and that's why I really like Luna's. I was like, there is no way I can do everything, so I'm just going to take the best choice I have, try and score these points, and then try and end it before somebody else can. Or, I mean, that was in one of the games we played, and another one of the games we didn't. It didn't exactly go that way, but yeah, I don't know. It
feels like if someone does that strategy always, that strategy is... Did you win?
I won that game, yeah.
I think... Like, if you're only one doing that...
But also, you guys didn't go on the board. Remember, like, the first 3 or 4 tiles I took and put them on the board and was scoring points all in the beginning. You guys weren't. You guys were focusing more on getting the shrines out, and I didn't do that.
In the second game, I was getting myself out onto the...
Yeah, you guys...
Not in the first round. Not in the first... I had the
first
round 3 or 4 guys lined up on those tiles.
First round was you, and then after that, like, I didn't jump into the main board.
Remember, I ascended my guys and got them onto there before any... I mean, it is limiting, and I don't know. I just... liked it, which is weird because it's extremely mean. I wouldn't know. I don't like games where like I have a guy and I have my thing set up and then somebody just puts a thing down and kicks all my guys out like that because I had so many guys out early, my guys in the late game just kept getting kicked out, which is frustrating. But then there's lots of interesting ways in this game to mitigate that and try and you have the books that save a guy.
It feels like it's going that route, just like going for those quick, getting them out, and then just ending it with the thing is just far too powerful in this. For if anyone does, like if you see somebody doing it and then you try to go a different route, you're gonna get screwed because they're just gonna start ending this soon.
Maybe, but I didn't have any workers and I had to spend turns getting workers back.
But I mean, even still doing that, you were able to still pull the candles quicker than like I could even get any sort of thing going.
Well, it wasn't like you were super far behind me in points at the end. I think it was fairly close still.
I want to say stuff about it.
Go, yeah, I'm waiting for you.
You kept going, so I was going to let you go.
Just interrupt, that's what I do.
I bought this entirely on a whim. Like, I saw it at the game store, and I saw Feld's name on it, and I saw deluxe. I went, yup, I'm getting it. And I got nervous because that's the same thing as Max said. I read the rules and watched the video. I was like, oh, fuck, what did I do? Happy I did it. It's great. I agree with Max. I think the candle thing is probably the most interesting part of the game because it's not... If you flip a candle over, you don't pass. Next turn, you can still do stuff. You can do your first turn, you have all your workers available to you. You can flip a candle over just to add tension to the round, which I think is cool. I realized the more we played it, that the boat action is by far the best action in the game. Like, I think it's easy to see, like, initially, the herb action is the best, the one that lets you spend an herb to get 2 guys on an island back onto the island so you immediately can do actions again. It's also super powerful. Even the rules say you can't go here at the beginning of the game for your first game. But honestly, the boat is by far the most powerful action because you could travel to an island with your guys and they are active still. Like, having someone just plopped on the boat island the entire game to constantly give you boat tokens is really good. I like it. Everything about the game just like works for me. Everything is just like the timing stuff is really cool. The tokens are a lot like Bonfire, where you have to use action tokens to do specific things, but in this one you're limited to only having 1 of every action token.
Yeah, and that is rough.
Real tight because you have to make some really tough decisions on what you want to do. I think the mini expansions that the deluxe version comes with, the Empress one kind of sucks. It's whatever. Yeah, but the Chonky Priest boy, he good.
I like that one.
The Chonky Priest guy, he counts as two workers, or if you want to bust him in, if you know the rules, you don't have to pay bribe tokens to bust him in or out of places. Mm-hmm. So he's great. So it's a nice idea of timing. Like, do I want to use this guy throughout the game to have more actions to get like discounts on actions, basically, or do I want him to plow through into the sanctuary and just get some points? Yeah. I think is really cool. I like the balance of the game where like you can go really heavy for points at the beginning of the game, but then you have significantly less workers than everybody else because they are stuck in the middle of the area unless they get kicked out, which can easily happen because the tiles that you get, they go on the board in numerical order from low to high, So if you just go in really early for points, all your guys are on the low number, so they are going to get kicked out at some point, unless you go hard on a book strategy to protect everybody.
When they get kicked out, they don't go somewhere good. They go to the dock.
They go to the dock, and you have to waste a movement token to move them or break them back in.
I think that middle board, the numbers need to change each round. Because with the numbers, like where 2 has to go here, 3 has to go here. You can literally just play this enough to know exactly which numbers to get for that won't.
The whole middle thing's modular.
What's modular?
Where the numbers are, they're set in 4 different pieces, and you put them in a different shape.
Yeah. So depending.
So there's 4 different chunks which are in.
You pick it,
but they're not. It's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You
6,
pick a chunk per player count,
yeah.
so they could all the chunks always be different.
We swap
it. But there's still that huge portion that has a lot of them on there.
You would have to play a lot to memorize that and have it in like.
And even you can just see it and go, okay, these numbers are the most powerful ones because these ones can't be kicked off the second. Like,
but then again, you have to.
But then
but they all have the different tokens on them. Like certain ones have like 16 has like an herbalism thing on it. But depending on where that island is in the game, like. That might not. Yeah, I feel like this game is so modular.
I think that's
a
cool strategy about the game then too, though. Especially because like I think the old edition didn't have the break-in rule where you could like go from the dock and break back in. Okay. That's just for this version of the game. But I think it's a cool another timing situation where if you get kicked out early, you can just keep your guy on the dock and just break back in with him later, and you just wait because there's some spicy tiles that pop up then in the middle where you're just like. If I kick my guy back into there, he literally can't get booted out no matter what. Mm-hmm. And it's a really good, like, I could just wait and just wait to kick him back in here, or I can just get him so I can start doing more actions. It's another cool, like, timing thing for me.
It's a game that you can't really play with someone who's played this a lot with new players. They're gonna destroy you.
Oh yeah, no, you want to play with someone who's like equal level with you with this game. Mm-hmm. Especially, I would love to watch, like, top tier gameplay of this, like 3 or 4 really good players playing this game against each other, just to see what the strategies are, because I think that'd be really fun to watch.
Oh yeah, because I mean, this was one of those games where it, like Bonfire was too, where it's like after your first 3 turns, you're like, can we restart the whole game? Because I made some horrible decisions.
But then you restart the game and all the islands move.
Yeah.
And then you can also like do like a game where you have the Moon Priestess token, and then the
builder and the apostate.
The builder and the apostate, and then those have like starting tiles, or just randomize where they go and see what happens.
Yeah. Like the deluxe version's really nice.
It's very nice. I don't like the coins that much. You guys like the coins.
The coins are no, I liked the coins. I like the
shape of the coins. I hate that they're just like blasted with white paint.
Yeah.
It looks like ass. I hate that. But like the shape of them being like different, like cycles of the moon. The cycles of the moon thing, that's really cool. I like it. It's TMG, so of course the deluxe version looks amazing. You can also get this sleeve for no reason, but it's there. I really liked.
That's cooler looking. I wasn't gonna do it again.
And the box looks nicer without the sleeve, but I think Luna was my biggest surprise. Oops, I bought this purchase of last year. Every other game I kind of looked into a bit. This one I legitimately just bought because I saw Feld and Deluxe and it happened to be in the store.
Had I looked into it, I would not have bought it.
Me either. Which is why I'm happy I just went. Yeah, and got it.
This group is pretty unique, I think.
But I would
say overall, I mean, like, as designs go and as games go, like, I wouldn't call any of these bad. I don't like certain things about them all, but it is a very interesting group of games. Like this week when we played these, it was
weird week.
Yeah, it's a weird week. And next week's gonna be weird too.
Yep.
Next week I foresee some lot of anger about one of the games coming up.
Ryan and I at least share one opinion about a game next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, neither of you have played one of them now. We'll save it for.
We haven't played 3 of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well.
So yeah.
If you had to pick. Sorry, I was going to ask just to end this as a nice little wrap up. If you had to pick one that you were like, we have to play this right now, which one would you play?
Oh, good.
I think we did that last video, so I thought about it.
Does this one with
That's
Hamburg
fine.
rules?
Okay.
Will be literally the only one I'd play.
Oh, really? Oh,
no,
easily
no.
Luna. I would play any of these right now,
with Luna.
But I want to play Luna right now. But if Luna wasn't in this group, I would want to play Trajanum just because I got to figure it out. But I don't necessarily like it. But no, Luna easily.
In this moment right now, I'm also going to pick Luna.
On my birthday, I'm going to make you play Luna.
Otherwise, it'd be Bruges every time.
I ain't done playing Luna.
Nope, my birthday game day, Luna all day.
It's like Rising Sun.
You guys know what I'm
Don't care to play. I will not play it again.
You guys already know what I'm picking for my birthday game day.
Feudum?
Yep, Feudum. 2 games of Feudum.
Oh gosh.
2 games.
Yep.
Okay, well, this has been our 3rd Fun Filled Feld February video. Thanks for joining us. Let us know what you think in the comments below, particularly these 4 games. Got Bruges, Notre Dame, Trajanum, and Luna. If you played them, let you know what you think. If it's helped you decide the next game you want to get of his, glad we could help. And stay tuned for our last video coming up next week. And then our big overview review, I guess.
Big wrap-up.
Wrap-up of comparing, I guess, as a big group, our top list of them.
We're going to order all of them as a group.
Yes, and then we're going to do individual ones of what we think are our top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. Thanks, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I gotta pee.